Yo, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a movie review. Well, by the time you see it, it'll be whenever. So the way how we're normally going to do it, just heads up, our goal is to try to reach a movie or two every week. Most of them are going to be new. They're also going to be movies that we've seen but hasn't been. It's been a minute, or whatever the case might be. But we're going to be doing a lot of more movie reviews.
Whatever we feel like.
Yeah, whatever we feel like. And obviously later on we'll be asking for little polls and stuff of if we can't decide between the movie, it'll be up to y'all to decide for that. But for now, we're first review we've done in a long minute is Tom and Jerry.
Yeah,
the
it
new
came out
film.
today.
Yeah, it came out. Well, by the time we recorded, hopefully we do post it before reasonable time. But yeah,
we posting this bad boy quick.
All right. Well, we watched it on Friday. We watched it the night of it, so it came out 20 hours ago, or whatever the case might be. So so first thing we're gonna do is actually a rating. Would you give it?
I'm giving it a solid, I'll be nice, 3.5 out of 10.
I gave it about a 4. I gave it a 4, I think.
Yeah.
Because positives before we get into all that.
Yes.
Positives was I was very happy with the music just because it was nice to hear Tribe Called Quest. It was
Had a good soundtrack.
Near here. Who wrote the song?
He's trying to show off his song knowledge
I
now.
know. I knew all the songs that were playing. All right, I generally knew them all. I just don't remember at the moment because I'm a little frazzled by the film. But only thing I remember at the moment was Tribe Called Quest and the intro in the beginning. Oh, Eric B and Rakim, and then there was It's okay. I know all the songs. I just don't remember them at the moment. But it was very cool to hear that. Great soundtrack.
The pigeons were good.
Yeah, the pigeons was cool. Any other positives? Oh, I have one. The last thing. The animations for Tom and Jerry, even though it can be a negative and a positive, I did like some of the scenes were kind of a classic scenes. Like, for example, sorry, that's our pit bulls. For example, Tom getting hit by
Everything.
Yeah.
Which that goes with the good Tom and Jerry,
Specifically, I was talking about when
appreciated
his face got flattened out.
With the iron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a very classic scene. A lot of them were kind of classic scenes.
Yeah. That was...
Any positives besides the ones I said?
I like they did keep a lot with the classic Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
And they brought back a lot of the other characters from Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
To be honest, I thought the pigeons were going to be the pigeons from, I don't know why.
Animaniacs?
Right.
Is that the vibe you got too?
That's exactly the pigeons I thought. I was like...
It's really the only cartoon pigeons we know, though, so I get it.
And then the elephants, I believe they were in Tom and Jerry at one point. Maybe not Tom and Jerry, but they were in the Warner Brothers cartoons.
I'm sure at one point or another.
Obviously, seeing the dog was cool, but the dog talked.
I can't...
But the
dog does talk.
I don't remember the dog.
And he's got
talk.
his little son, yeah. And he's like, don't mess with my boy.
Right. Oh, you're right. That would have been cool.
I wanted to see the
boy.
little guy. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, those are the positives. It seems like that's all. Now you go ahead. You can start with the negatives.
Okay. What's the first thing I'm going to talk about? I felt like Tom and Jerry, for their names to be in the title, they were already like 40% of the movie.
Or even less.
Less, yeah. And it was just, they're going to town today. They want to be part of it. Yeah. But, like, I don't know. If their name's going to be in the title, I want to see them. They need to be the main character. And that just wasn't what was happening in this movie. And I grew up on Tom and Jerry. Well, on Boomerang. But you know what I mean. So give that strong, Scoop vibes.
I watched it, but I wasn't fully sold on watching it because there was obviously other things I could have watched.
I know, it wasn't a hit classic for
No.
lot of people.
Tom and Jerry was awesome. It was just, if it was between that and something else, I would choose that. Boondocks, I guess, would be the example that comes to mind every time. Justice League, so on and so forth. So I would choose that hobby. But Tom and Jerry was always awesome. I wanted them to be
center focused.
And I mean, Kid Next Door. I'm just, I'm kidding. No, but Tom and Jerry was awesome. Boomerang was cool. Yeah, Tom and Jerry was cool, and that was an issue. Was they took over the storyline
a little bit, and I feel like rather than focusing on them, they spent a lot of time focusing on a plot that, to me, wasn't that great to begin with.
Centered around the main actress. I don't remember her name at the moment, but
which
it was fine.
And you're gonna learn if you watch her videos. We're not very good with names, and it's not a sign of disrespect. We just have awful memory. I wanted it more Tom and Jerry focused, and it felt like it was so focused on this other main character, and I mean, she was fine.
No,
she's a good actress.
She is like it's
just the script and just the plot. It wasn't my favorite, and
the role, to be honest. Sometimes there's actors out there that I believe has serious potential. Mm-hmm. It's just sometimes the roles that they take doesn't portray that to their fullest ability, and that's just my thinking. But it's their art. It's what they chose. But sometimes it just feels like there could have been another role for you in that film or in a different film rather than you wasting your time here. And an example, I think, a person you are not a big fan of because of the roles is Matthew McConaughey. She's not a big fan.
I just get weird vibes.
But the one thing is that she didn't like, and I could tell when we started watching Matthew McConaughey films for her, was that the roles he took, but there were specific movies that he's done. Good example was Dallas Buyers Club, where that role really displayed how good of an actor he really is.
So
that's what I mean by these actors in this. Yeah,
there's a lot of good characters, people in the cast.
Yeah,
but this film did not highlight their acting abilities very well. I think the script just didn't allow them to show to be the comedic sides that we enjoy from them. And I feel like when I watched the trailer, I was drawn in by these people and then kind of let down. So you see some characters.
You're very excited about what's his name, who's in Fury, Daredevil, the bicep.
Ant-Man,
Ant-Man. The bicep. I don't remember his name. He's a very good actor. He's funny. It's just him as the manager. He had his moments. To be honest, real quick before we continue, I laughed throughout the movie less than 5 times. So less as fingers in my hand. Yeah. For her, how many did you say that you probably laughed?
I was being negative earlier. I said 0 earlier, but the reality is I laughed a few times for Tom and Jerry because they had those
and he had
Tom and Jerry moments.
He had a few moments, but yeah.
But it was very minimal. I mean, I'm sure for kids, it was a good film, not a great film. So if their key audience was kids, they still didn't reach that level of expectation.
Well, real quick, you want to tell them the plot you're actually starting to tell me? The plot that you wish...
Yeah. I wanted it... So, if you're going to watch the film, the main... I don't want to spoil it. But the main girl, like, she's kind of the center focus. And it's her life and the obstacles she's going through. And she becomes somehow incorporated into being somewhat a staff in the hotel. I was wishing that Tom kind of replaced her role. And was instead the main character. I rather see that. Because there's plenty of Tom and Jerry movies where Tom is the main character. I wanted him to be the main character.
So, for example, no spoilers, Tad, that she gets a job by stealing... Why?
No, don't spoil.
It's a movie review.
He's a newspaper, so just ignore him. No. Don't spoil it for them. You have to go and watch it, experience it for yourself, feel the disappointment seep in, and just embrace it.
So she gets a job. Her thing is saying instead of her getting the job, it should have been Tom, and Tom gets a job, and they accept him, saying, "Wow, you're amazing for a cat. We're gonna hire you," and so on and so forth. That's what you wanted.
Yes,
and you wanted, and I was saying, adding on to what she was saying was, Jerry could have been like, well, I'm just gonna mess up his day, or
I just want him to show up. There doesn't even have to be a reason.
Right.
Just show up,
or
just
show
like the
up,
cartoon.
or like they accidentally meet up with each other, or Jerry goes, "Hey, look where Tom's working. This is a nice hotel. I'm about to live here." Something like that.
Plain and simple.
Right.
And just let it roll and say, Tom, you're going to be fired if you don't get this done. That's all I need.
And one other thing too, before we continue with the other negatives, is that
the other negative.
Well, another negative would honestly be his runtime. The movie was an hour and 42 minutes long.
Oh, yeah, it was right.
That, honestly, I would have been happy with the 30-minute movie, a short film technically, and just watch Tom and Jerry do their thing, or at least cut it to an hour and 15. Because it was an hour and 42 minutes. There was a good solid 45 minutes that was not needed. And no disrespect to the director or the writer, that this was your artwork. It's just personally for me, that's kind of an issue I have when it comes to like Warner Brothers and what they do with Godzilla films.
Stretching it beyond.
It kind of stretches a little bit, and like she said, if it's a Tom and Jerry film, I think as a whole we're kind of expecting a Tom and Jerry film, not a film about this girl. Even though the story was not that bad, it's just Tom and Jerry were the side characters, and that's what kind of bothers me when it comes to them remaking films or trying to incorporate other stuff. Like Godzilla in the first one felt like a side character. That's how I kind of felt about Tom and Jerry.
Yeah. I got the one last point. Okay, when you watch this film,
Or
if you did,
yeah,
there's one character, and she's like the luggage cart girl.
Yeah.
Write in the comments if you agree, but I feel like they're just overly mean to this poor girl. Like, they were saying she was raised by wolves and all this stuff, and they'd get so scared when she popped up. And I feel like it was such weird inclusion in the... she was even called a creature. And to be honest, by the main character, and I'm like, this seems really mean and bullying. I don't feel like it belongs in the movie. Like, she didn't deserve it at all. So unjustified and unnecessary.
And then we actually looked her up before we did this, because it did bother her, and we try not to talk about it, but we did for a solid minute, and I had to look it up. She actually won a few awards, and she was nominated for many other awards, and she was in Darkest Hour with Gary Coleman?
Yeah, names.
He's the commissioner off of the Dark Knight series. Yeah. I think it's Gary Coleman. I believe that's his name. But he plays Winston Churchill from the 40s during World War II. She was in that movie, and that was a very dramatic, very good film. I saw she was in Jamestown, the show. She was in a lot of good dramatic stuff, like of good roles. It seemed like, and she got nominated and this and that. And then she plays a role where she's a quote unquote freak
what's the word where it's like a cheap joke, and it just didn't hit well with me.
No,
I felt it was really belittling.
It was.
I just might be bitter. I might be a sour person, but I don't know. They gave no reason.
Because she talked a tad weird, I guess, but she didn't.
She's maybe a little awkward.
She appeared out of nowhere. That's what freaked them out. She would just randomly say something, and it would scare.
I don't know.
That was just, I don't know.
Bad vibes. I don't like it. Bully vibes. I don't like it.
Well, it's not just that. It's cheap jokes.
Yeah.
It's when it's a joke, it's a joke.
That was the other thing. Like at the end of the movie, when the dog just farts because they hadn't had 30 seconds without a joke. It's like, fart humor. Got it.
Yeah, it's
checked it off your box.
It's on that it's on that Disney Nickelodeon check box where it's like, we gotta make a cheap joke every 20 seconds to make you laugh. And like I said, I probably laughed less than 5 times. Yeah. You probably laughed about the same.
No hate to people who liked it.
Yeah.
Just I'll leave it at that.
Wasn't our
Not
it
our
was
cup
not
of tea.
what it's not that is we weren't expecting it. And to be honest, for me, I liked Scooby-Doo a lot more, and I did not like that film at all.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that film. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out that review, because that did get posted.
Scoob.
Yeah. Yes, Scoop. My bad, Scoop. And that was better than this. And that's
Like, I love Tom and Jerry, just not the movie we needed right now.
It is what it is, though.
So go and watch it.
Yeah.
And then tell us what you think.
Yeah, real quick, we did try to get our review under 10 minutes. That wasn't the case because we had a lot to talk about. Okay. But yeah, we do appreciate y'all watching, though. Appreciate y'all listening, and we will talk to you soon. Peace.
Every week, we provide resources and information that can help us all make a difference in the world. This can include links to important petitions, organizations to follow and donate to, small family businesses that you can support, and even literature and other podcasts that can help you get informed. Make sure to also follow Diamante's World on Instagram to find more ways we can promote change and justice. If you have an organization or resource you would like us to share, let us know in the comments too.